Smart English podcast. Okay, new game. Confession time. Tell me one thing you've never done that every other adult seems to have done. Something small, embarrassing, and completely true.
Easy. I've never eaten alone in a restaurant. Not once. If I'm on my own, I order takeaway and eat it standing in the kitchen, looking at my phone like a secret agent hiding from suspicion. I've eaten some very good food standing up, staring at a kettle, pretending to be busy.
A secret agent? So you've never once sat at a table by yourself and ordered a meal?
Never. I'd rather eat a sandwich on a park bench in the rain. There's something about a table for one that terrifies me. It's like the whole restaurant is looking at me and thinking, look, the sad man eating alone.
And here's the thing, nobody is thinking that. Nobody notices. You've built an entire fear around a scenario that exists only in your head.
Logically, I know that, but the fear doesn't care about logic. The moment I imagine it, my chest tightens. I genuinely rather go hungry than sit there alone being seen. It's not even about the food, it's about the performance. Eating alone feels like a public confession, and my whole body wants to avoid the confession.
So it's not about the food, it's about being seen alone, as if being alone is something to be embarrassed about.
Exactly. And if you tell me you've never felt it, I won't believe you.
Oh, I felt it. I used to plan my whole life around never being seen alone. But then something changed, and it's a story I want to tell you. Actually, it's the story we should both tell.
I have a feeling this is where the real conversation starts.
And hey, English learners, welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. If you've just joined us, you've walked into the middle of a confession. Jake has admitted he's never once eaten alone in a restaurant because he's terrified of being seen alone. I'm Emma, and this is Jake, Undercover Diner. And that's our topic today, the courage to be alone. So Jake, let's start with your fear. What exactly are we afraid of?
I think we're afraid of what being alone says about us. In our heads, eating alone means nobody wanted to eat with you. Sitting alone means nobody chose to sit with you. Being alone in public feels like a confession. I'm not wanted.
And that's the belief we should unpack, that being alone means being unwanted. Because there's a difference between being alone and being lonely, and I think we've confused them completely. We've mixed up a fact with a feeling, and then built a whole fear on the mix-up.
Okay, walk me through it. What's the difference?
Loneliness is a feeling. It's the ache of wanting company and not having it. Being alone is a fact. It's just you, in a room, by yourself. And the tragedy is, you can feel lonely in a crowded room, and perfectly fine completely alone. The two have almost nothing to do with each other. I've had my loneliest moments surrounded by people, and some of my most peaceful ones in an empty flat.
You can be lonely in a crowd. I've been lonely in a crowd. I've been the life of the party and felt completely invisible. So the crowd was never the cure.
Exactly. And that's the first crack in the fear. If company doesn't cure loneliness, then being alone doesn't cause it. So what are we actually running from?
Ourselves, I think. The silence. Being alone means being with your own thoughts. And for a lot of us, that's the scariest room in the house.
And I have proof that the room gets less scary. My story, the one I mentioned. A few years ago, I was traveling alone for work, and I had one free evening in a city I didn't know. I didn't know a single person there. And I sat in my hotel room for an hour trying to decide, do I go out to dinner alone or do I stay in and order room service?
And we both know what you wanted to do. Room service. The hotel room equivalent of the kitchen counter.
Exactly. But I made a deal with myself. I said, Emma, you're going to that restaurant. You're taking a book and you're going to sit there for one meal. And honestly, the walk there was terrifying. I nearly turned back 3 times.
And what happened when you sat down?
Nothing. Nothing happened. The waiter brought a menu. I ordered. I read my book. The food was good. And nobody looked at me. Not once. The whole terrifying scenario I'd built in my head, it just wasn't there. And by the end, I felt proud, ridiculously, stupidly proud. I'd done the thing I was afraid of.
And that's the whole secret, isn't it? The thing you're afraid of is almost never as bad as the imagining of it. So what did you take from that night, besides a good meal?
I took the lesson that fear is a terrible travel guide. It tells you everywhere is dangerous, but it's lying. It's just scared. And after that night, I started doing things alone on purpose. The cinema, the museum, the weekend trip. And each time, the fear got a little quieter. It never disappeared, but it stopped giving the orders.
The fear stopped giving the orders. That's a beautiful way to put it. You don't get rid of the fear, you just demote it.
So let me hear yours now. You said the fear runs deep. Where does it come from for you?
Honestly, from a weekend. A few years ago, I was in a long-distance relationship, and it ended. And the first weekend after, I had nothing planned. 2 days completely empty. Everyone assumed I'd be drowning in misery, and I was, but not in the way they thought. I remember sitting on my sofa on Saturday morning, and the silence was so loud I could hear my own heartbeat.
So what did you do?
Everything I could to avoid it. I called people, I went to the shops for things I didn't need, I watched 11 hours of television. I filled every minute because the empty minutes felt like drowning. And by Sunday night, I was exhausted, not from doing anything, but from running from the silence.
And that's the pattern, isn't it? We treat being alone like an emergency, like if we stop moving, the loneliness will catch us.
Exactly. And the irony is, I wasn't even lonely in the sad sense. I was scared of what I'd find if I sat still. So I never sat still. I'd been running from myself for years without noticing.
And that's the real discovery of that weekend, I think. It wasn't that being alone was painful. It was that running from it was exhausting.
That's exactly it. Being alone was never the enemy. The running was the enemy. The weekend was empty, but it wasn't dangerous. It was just quiet. And I'd been treating quiet like a threat. But quiet can't hurt you. It's the fear of quiet that keeps you exhausted, not the quiet itself.
So here's where I want to push back, because I don't want this episode to become just love being alone. Because I think that advice, you should learn to enjoy your own company, can feel like a second punishment when you're genuinely lonely. We've all heard it from well-meaning friends, and it never helps in the moment.
That's fair. And it's a real thing. When you're hurting and someone says, just be happy alone, it feels like they're telling you to be happy with a broken leg. Solitude is a skill, but it's not a cure for loneliness.
So what's the honest version? Because I don't think it's love being alone. I think it's something smaller and more reachable.
I think it's tolerance. You don't have to love being alone. You just have to be able to sit with it, to know that you can survive it. The courage to be alone isn't about loving solitude. It's about not being ruled by the fear of it.
Tolerance, not love. That's a much more honest goal, and it's achievable because it's a practice, not a personality change.
Exactly. You don't become a monk. You just become someone who isn't afraid of an empty evening.
And I think the biggest enemy of that practice is the phone. You said it yourself. You filled the silence with 11 hours of television, and I'm guilty of the same. My phone goes everywhere with me, partly for work, mostly as a shield.
The phone as a shield. That's exactly it. I can't sit in a queue for 3 minutes without pulling it out. I can't wait for coffee. I can't sit in silence. If I'm not looking at something, I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
And there's a phrase for that: fear of missing out, FOMO. We scroll because we're terrified that somewhere, something is happening without us.
And the irony is, while I'm scrolling, something is happening without me. My own life, my own thoughts, my own quiet. I'm missing out on being with myself, while checking that I'm not missing out on everyone else.
So what would you say to the version of you who can't put the phone down? The one who thinks an empty moment is a failure?
I'd say, the phone is a shield, and a shield hides you from yourself. Put it down for 5 minutes. The world will survive, and so will you. You might even enjoy it.
So what happens when you actually sit with yourself? when the phone's away and the silence is there. What did you find on your next attempt?
I've found out who I am. The first time I did a full evening without distraction, no phone, no TV, just me, I was so uncomfortable I nearly quit. I literally looked at the clock 11 times in the first 10 minutes. But after about 20 minutes, something shifted. I ran out of things to avoid, and I just sat there, and it was okay. It was actually more than okay.
And that's the grounded truth of this episode, I think. The courage to be alone is really the courage to be with yourself. And most of us have never actually met ourselves. We've only ever seen ourselves through other people's eyes.
We've only ever seen ourselves through other people's eyes. That's the line. Because when you're never alone, you never have to face the version of you that isn't performing, the version with no audience. And meeting that version without running away, that's the courage.
And there's a beautiful side effect of all this. When you're comfortable being alone, you become a better friend. Not a worse one, a better one. And honestly, that surprised me when I first realized it. I thought learning to be alone would make me more distant. It did the opposite.
How does that work? Shouldn't it be the opposite? More alone, less social?
Because you stop needing people and start choosing them. Needy friendship is exhausting. You're always looking for someone to rescue you from yourself. But when you can be alone, you show up to friendship full, not empty. You're there because you want to be, not because you're desperate not to be alone.
You show up full, not empty. That's going on the poster. And it's true. The best friendships I have now are with people who are fine on their own. We're not clinging, we're choosing.
So let's get practical. For someone who's terrified of being alone, where do they start?
Start tiny. Not a weekend alone. That's a marathon. Start with 10 minutes. 10 minutes of sitting with a cup of tea, no phone, no TV, no podcast. Just you and the room. If 10 minutes is too much, do 5. The length doesn't matter. The practice does.
And there's a lovely word for that practice: solitude. It means voluntary aloneness, time you choose to spend by yourself, not because you're lonely, but because you want to. And it's one of the most underrated pleasures there is.
Solitude. I used to think that word meant the same as loneliness. It doesn't. Loneliness is empty. Solitude is full. One is a wound, the other is a gift.
And there's another distinction worth making between solitude and isolation. Solitude is chosen. Isolation is forced. And the difference matters because one builds you up and the other wears you down.
Isolation is loneliness with the door locked. Solitude is a door you open on purpose. One happens to you. The other, you choose. And choosing is the whole point.
Okay, and I think we're ready for the words. You know what time it is. Time for Word Tour. For anyone new, this is where we slow down and take a proper look at the best words and phrases from today's conversation. And today's crop is perfect because these are words you'll use every single week.
And today's crop is perfect for this topic. First word, on your own. It simply means alone, without other people. Example, she's lived on her own for 5 years and loves it.
And my example, I went to the cinema on my own for the first time last month, and it was brilliant. Notice how neutral the phrase is. On your own doesn't carry shame. It's just a fact. The shame is something we add ourselves. And it's one of the most useful phrases in English because everyone needs it eventually. Second word, solitude.
It means the state of being alone, usually by choice and usually peaceful. Example, he values his morning solitude before the rest of the house wakes up. And mine, I used to fear solitude. Now I guard it like a treasure.
Third word, loneliness. It means the sad feeling of being alone or of feeling disconnected even when you're with people. Example, she felt a deep loneliness even in the middle of the party.
And mine, loneliness isn't about how many people are around you. It's about how connected you feel. It's the most important distinction in this whole conversation. Fourth word, alone time.
It means time you spend by yourself, deliberately, for rest or reflection. Example, after a busy week, I need some alone time to recharge.
And mine, I schedule alone time like a meeting.
Otherwise, it never happens. It's the positive, modern phrase for taking space for yourself. And the last one, keep someone company.
It means to stay with someone so they're not alone. Example, she kept her grandmother company while she waited for the doctor.
And mine, I'll come with you. I don't want you going alone. I'll keep you company. It's one of the kindest phrases in English. And notice, it's about giving, not needing. 5 words: on your own, solitude, loneliness, alone time, keep someone company. Now, my favorite part. Say it better.
For anyone new, we take a basic sentence, admit it's perfectly fine, and then upgrade it into the kind of English native speakers actually use. Sentence 1, the basic version. I don't like to be without other people. Nothing wrong with it. It's clear and correct.
But say it better. I don't like being on my own. See the upgrade? On my own, from our word tour, is the natural, everyday way to say it. It's shorter, it's smoother, and it's exactly what a native speaker would say.
Next, basic. I want to spend Saturday alone. Totally fine, but say it better. I'm looking forward to some alone time on Saturday.
Alone time, word tour word, makes it sound positive and intentional, not sad. Spend Saturday alone sounds like a punishment. Looking forward to alone time sounds like a treat. Same plan, completely different feeling.
Next, basic. Being alone makes me feel sad. Clear and correct. But say it better. I feel lonely when I'm by myself.
Lonely, word tour word, is the precise word for the sad kind of alone. And saying, I feel lonely is more honest and more natural than being alone makes me feel sad. It names the feeling instead of describing the situation.
Next, basic. She doesn't need people around her. Perfectly good. But say it better. She values her solitude.
Solitude, word tour word, turns it into a strength, not a quirk. Doesn't need people sounds cold. Values her solitude sounds wise. It's the difference between being judged and being admired.
And the last one, basic. I'll stay with you so you're not alone. Nothing wrong with it, but say it better. I'll keep you company.
Keep someone company, word tour word, is the warm, natural 2-word version. It's shorter, it's kinder, and it's one of those phrases that instantly makes your English feel human. 5 upgrades, 5 word tour words. That's the system.
And now, back to the confession from the start of the show. The restaurant. The table for one. Jake, I have a feeling you have an announcement.
I do. I did it. This weekend, I went to a small cafe, sat at a table by myself, and ordered a full meal. No phone, just me, a table, and a very good sandwich. I even ordered a dessert just to stretch the moment out. It felt like a tiny act of rebellion against my own fear.
You did it. And what happened? Did the world end? Did people point and whisper?
Nobody looked at me, not once. The waiter was nice, the sandwich was excellent, and I sat there for 40 minutes, just being. It was the most ordinary and the most extraordinary thing I've done in years. I nearly called you to tell you, but then I thought, no, this one's just mine.
That's the phrase I'm taking with me today. This one's just mine. The moments we keep for ourselves, without posting, without sharing, without an audience, those are the ones that build the courage to be alone.
And the phrase I'm taking? Loneliness is empty. Solitude is full. I'd been confusing them my whole life, treating every moment alone like it was a wound. Now I know the difference. And knowing the difference changes everything.
And for everyone listening who's afraid of the empty evening, the table for one, the quiet room, this one's for you. Start with 5 minutes. Meet yourself. You might be the best company you've ever had.
And if this episode felt useful, or if you laughed at my restaurant confession, consider subscribing to the podcast. It's free. It keeps these conversations alive, and honestly, your comments are the highlight of our week.
We really do read them, and they genuinely make our week. So tell us, when was the last time you were truly alone, on purpose? What did you find there? Peace? Boredom? Something surprising? We'd love to hear your story in the comments.
And one small challenge before we go. This week, take 10 minutes of solitude. No phone, no noise, no people. Just you and a cup of tea. That's it. 10 minutes. See what happens.
And with that, take care, keep learning, keep speaking. And remember, being alone isn't the same as being lonely, and a table for one isn't a tragedy. The courage to sit with yourself is the quietest kind of bravery there is, and it's available to everyone, starting tonight.
The quietest kind of bravery. That's the last line of the episode, because nothing can follow it. Bye, everyone. And the next time you're alone, don't run from it. Sit with it. You might like who you meet.
Bye, everyone, and may your tables for one be peaceful, your silences be kind, and your own company be the best you keep.
See you next time, everyone. Take care. And don't forget to take yourself on a date sometime. You deserve it.
And one more thing. The next time you're in a queue and your hand reaches for the phone, let it wait, just for a minute. That minute is yours.
I'll try. And if I fail, I'll try again the next day. That's the practice. Thanks for being with us, everyone. See you next time.